Alright guys, here are the 5 best nonfiction books to check out in 2024. This was not an easy list to put together because throughout this year I moved, started 2 jobs, got married, lost a couple family members, and adopted a kitten. That's Cheeto. Cheeto! He's 5 months old. He's a very tiny bear. He's a very tiny and also destructive bear. He destroyed 2 Christmas presents tonight. I checked out a lot more books than I thought I would along the way, and many of the better ones I checked out came out before 2023, but 2023 still produced quite a few killer releases. So in this video, I'm going to go over 2 top 5 lists. One for the best nonfiction books I checked out in 2023, and another for the best nonfiction books I checked out in 2023 that came out in 2023 with no overlap, all of which I highly recommend checking out in 2024. Just so you guys know, there are affiliate links in the description, and if you buy anything through those links, like maybe these books, then I get commission, which helps me build this channel. I keep making these videos. You can also find a lot of these on my Amazon storefront, but welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I want to make self-growth normal, because people shouldn't have to look this information up. It should just be mainstream knowledge. If you agree, then please make sure to smash that like button. So let's start with the best books we checked out in 2023. Number 5 is The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt. It's painfully obvious that this book was written by a psych professor, yet somehow the author was able to keep things interesting with a plethora of examples in a plethora of fields. He talks about so many things in so many chapters that every time I asked myself, is this too much? The answer was never quite yes. I tried to see what exactly the happiness hypothesis was in the book, and I couldn't figure it out. So I looked it up and I couldn't really find the answer. Call me oblivious. One thing throughout this dense book, however, was the author's allusion to the concept of the elephant and the rider of the elephant, hence the badass book cover. He tells us about what they both represent in the book. Something about the book that really stood out to me, though, that helped it make this list, was how the further I got into it, the less he talked about the science behind why we do what we do, and the more he talked about the emotional, moral, societal, and spiritual reasons. Number 4 is Word Slut by Amanda Montell. I have probably half an hour of myself on this channel trying to dissect and explain what it is about the consistency of Montell's work that just makes it pop so hard. It's articulate, it's well researched, and it's detailed with a very educational, let me show you how this goes nature, but it also oozes personality and humor, and you can tell a lot of work has gone into developing her own sort of flavor of writing that she has. Her critical hit Cultish, about what cult leaders do and say to reel and keep us in, followed up this book about feminist language, and I found it so surprisingly unbiased that you could probably argue it's more about linguistics than it is about feminism. At the end of the day, however, it turns out men have much more to do with the development of the English language than women. So she discussed just about everything she needed to discuss. Aside from how well she was able to nail down where all these different manners of communication in modern American culture came from, what really got me about this book was just how unbiased Montell was. The author painted herself as nothing beyond a friendly, helpful narrator telling us more a series of stories than a series of opinions and political beliefs, which I imagine is extremely rare in a book like this one. Number 3 is Hold Me Tight by Sue Johnson. The author of this book counseled all sorts of people before getting her doctorate and just working with straight up couples and realizing that no couple really wants to learn how to fight effectively and negotiate with each other because it just seems like a zero-sum game to so many people. The bond between you and your partner is very much of the same nature as a bond between a child and their parent for nurturing, but this book talks about what goes on underneath all that turmoil in a relationship. So much of this is just about emotions and how to communicate between them and understanding them. Her clients in the chapter examples, you listen to like the cases around them and you're like, damn, these people can make it. They just need to get on the same page with each other. Some of these client cases were very entertaining. Like they almost kind of read as like a movie. I just got married on December 9th. We've been together for almost 5 years and my wife is my heart and soul. This is easily the most groundbreaking relationship book I've personally checked out since maybe 5 love languages. I don't have the best relationship with relationship books. This one definitely hit the target it needed to. I virtually had no problems with it. Just about as solid of a book as you could write. Own the Day, Own Your Life by Aubrey Marcus. What I think some nonfiction authors like this guy really kill it at is taking one of the most culturally unsexy concepts that make the biggest differences in our lives, like nutrition, exercise, recreation, hygiene, work commutes, sleep, and make them easy and fun to learn about. He coats these with interesting statistics, a hilarious, sometimes teenage or adolescent sense of humor, and a colorful personality. It's where health science meets self-help, probably more than any other book that I've checked out ever, aside from another one that came out this year that made the next list. It's very, very unconventional, but it's realistic and it's unusually humane as well. He's head set on making himself succeed, but not emotionally scarring himself in the process of doing so. These two paradigms intersect and work together perfectly throughout the book, and the world needs more books like this. Number one is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. This book is about what the author calls grand slam offers so good that people feel stupid saying no to them. The concept of offers, not sales, not negotiating, not pitching, not closing, not objections, not body language, but offers, is pretty unique. But the author's batting average is this is like on online advertising, but his batting average is $36 profit per $1 spent on advertising, which is a 3,600% return, which is completely insane. And he said this book is his attempt at sharing that skill with us. He said the further you get into the book, the bigger the nuggets become. He said, just watch. This book delivers. It does. It does. Some of this book really blew my mind too. Like, this guy is very anti-normal, he's anti-price, anti-commodity, and he really wants price to do the talking. The thing that makes this book so incredible is that it is a true, serious, hardcore, and somehow comprehensible money science books. Many books are one or more of these things, but I don't think I've ever come across any book that is all of them. And during a time in history where the price of nothing is going down. Nothing. That is why this book made the top of the list. Now here are the best nonfiction books that actually came out in 2023. Number 5, Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. First off, I want to take a second to thank Adam Grant for watching and commenting on my review of this book. Adam, you did a splendid job, and I hope that your wife and kids are proud of you. Back to the book, as it turns out, massive amounts of determination, motivation, and energy are not natural, but anyone can gain these in the right environment. This guy is an organizational psychology professor at the Wharton School of Pennsylvania. So, like any other Ivy League professor, expect his books to be supremely well researched. However, he came a long way from the negative feedback received by many in his previous work, Think Again, about the benefits of taking a second to reconsider our instinctive reactions to things. For Hidden Potential, he dropped a lot of political biases and info and rehashed content as well from self-help staple books that came out 60 to 80 years ago. He really got down to the nitty-gritty, and he did what he needed to do. And for that, he earned number 5 on this list. Number 4 is Spare by Prince Harry. The title of this book alone tells us that Prince Harry is painfully aware, of where he hierarchically and historically lands in the royal family. His sensitivity, pleasant sense of humor, and remarkably precise recall of events brings itself to the ring for this memoir. I have to admit, and you know, I feel this way if you've seen any of my reviews of memoirs like this one, I do really have a soft spot for mega celebrities regarding how they're harassed by the media, tabloids, paparazzi, and the like, but certain moments in this book were so profoundly cathartic, and I can't help blaming the writer. To be frank with you guys though, the way this book was written is probably at least 70% of the reason this book even made the list. Pretty sad. Of course it was ghostwritten, but of course I didn't realize that until after I uploaded my review of it. By the way, I've reviewed every single one of these books, and I'm going to drop a link to each one of my reviews in the description as well, if you want to check those out and get more info on the books. Number 3, 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. I thought this book was just going to be a simple 8 rules of love. What Shetty did here, however, was bring his knowledge, wisdom, and education to the mix, which complexified to the nth degree what we were expecting. And yet the audiobook wasn't like 16 hours long or anything. It was a pretty decent length. The book is largely based on the Vedas, which is an incredibly long body of religious Hindi texts. For those who don't know, this dude for some time was actually a straight up monk at an ashram in Mumbai. He did this coming from a business school. So when he was done, he became obsessed with how what he learned can be applied to like modern science and business. It's a pretty unique blend of insights. Some of these rules were very unexpected and very 21st century. It was unique, but that blend of science and spirituality was there like almost nothing I've ever seen. And when you add that to an unexpected topic by a very popular and viral new author like this guy, you're left with quite the treat. I gotta stop watching baking shows before I write these videos. Speaking of food, number 2 is You Can't Screw This Up by Adam Bernstein. Similar to Own the Day, Own Your Life, the author of this book, as an expert, has a very empathetic and unexpected way of looking at the millions of people who feel stuck in terms of wellness nowadays. People think better eating requires preferences we don't have, food that costs money we don't have, time we can't seem to find, and habits we haven't built. It is not illegal, guys. It's not illegal to have takeout and dessert, okay? You can have your cake. There's no one in the bushes waiting to unalive you for eating some tiramisu in the back of your 2012 Hyundai Tucson, okay, Jamie? I'm like waiting for someone watching this named Jamie who drives a 2012 Hyundai Tucson and likes to eat tiramisu in the back of it. I really had to use a gender neutral name there too. He said that part of not screwing it up is having a plan that feels like it understands your life. It's gotta be a diet that has food that's easier for you to enjoy, but it also fills you up. So you don't feel like eating and eating and eating. And if you feel like eating and eating and eating, no matter what happens, then you may want to speak to some kind of doctor or psychologist, okay? But diets with very strict rules, according to this guy, have very low success rates. In this book, you learn why that is, how to incorporate takeout and dessert into your diet without feeling horrible about it. Guys, life is so damn complicated. It seriously is. Don't stress yourself out with what you eat. Check this book out, do yourself a favor, and try to find a way to make it work for you and your life. Number one, people who follow my channel throughout the year know what this is. Number one is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. What can we say here? Britney Spears has been through a lot. From the way the media talked about her for decades, to the conservatorship under her dumpster fire father, to losing her sons, one of the most indisputably iconic pop artists in history has been dealt some of the most unfair, unlucky cards you could imagine as a direct result of just her career and her passion for music and dance. And the only way to understand such a thing before you even consider her level of privilege or get any must be nice impression, you might want to hear her side of the story. Not something a lot of people really seem to know how to do nowadays, right? Beautifully written, extremely vulnerable, and fiercely spirited. This memoir tells the story of Britney Spears from the ground up and back down and then back up again. The way she talked about the conservatorship under her completely inhumane dad was so heartbreaking, and somehow I couldn't stop listening to it until it was over. This is such a bittersweet book, this is. I hope everyone who wronged her gets what they deserve, but I hope her kids are proud of her, okay? And I also hope that she starts making music again and reignites, you know, the passion for it that she had to begin with in a way that this time can't be broken. Hashtag free Britney. So those are the 5, or I guess 10 best nonfiction books to check out in 2024. 5 that came out in 2023 and 5 that just came out, you know, earlier than that. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anything missing from this list? What would you add? What would you take away? What were your favorite books of this year? Please let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe. But if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and we'll see you then.